Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 6 of our 10-part series in which we talk about just do these things if you don't have time to listen to anything else. Very short, bite-sized episodes, much different than our normal episodes, Jamie, where we talk about just 10 things that you need to do if you want to get your money right in the military. Number 1 was start contributing 5% monthly to your Roth thrift savings plan. Then go to tsp.gov and ensure you're invested in the latest L fund, build an emergency fund up to $1,000. That was step number 3. Number 4 is make sure you have a budget and start tracking it. Use an app, use Excel, just use something, use a piece of paper, track where your money is going, use a credit card, use a debit card, use cash. Just track, just figure out where is your money going. And number 5, what we talked about last week, pay down your high interest rate debts. And now number 6, based on your budget, increase your emergency fund to cover 3 months of expenses. Now, Jamie, we can get into the technical details. Should it be 3 months? Should it be 6 months? Should it be $10,000? Should it be $20,000? I don't really care. Whatever number is your SWAN number, your sleep well at night, SWAN number. Just find something. It can be for some people out there who are single, living in the dorms, or maybe they're not living in the dorms, but they have a very low cost of living lifestyle. They might say, dude, I got $1,000 in there and I've got $10,000 in my checking account and I don't really worry about money. And every emergency I've had, I've been able to cover. Great. You can just stick with $1,000 emergency fund. That's fine. I think for most military families, though, having 3 months of expenses set aside. So if you spend $3,000 a month, having $9,000 set aside is a good, solid foundation. And like you said, in a previous episode, Jamie, it turns emergencies into inconveniences when you can just throw money at the problem.
What I heard you say, Spencer, is just do something. I haven't gotten a chance to say that in a while. So pick something. I think some of our OG listeners will appreciate that reflection to past Jamie life. But Spencer, we talked in episode 51 about a Q&A of the military emergency funds, where to keep it, how many accounts to have, and things like that. So that's a good episode if you want to go back and dive in a little bit more on the emergency fund. But a couple weeks ago, we talked about budgeting a realistic amount for rent, food, transportation, and other expenses. Now that you know what you're spending, then you have your emergency fund covered. There's a lot of opinions out there, like you said, on how much, whatever you're comfortable with. And if you're married or in a long-term relationship where your finances are combined, this needs to be a joint decision. And if one partner says, I want $18,000 and one says $15,000, I won't be able to sleep well unless I have $18,000 in the bank. Like, just go with what your partner wants and put $18,000 in the bank. It's not that significant of a difference. So it's a security, it's a feeling, not just a math thing.
Yeah, this is an insurance policy, right? Like, you hope you never have to use it. And yes, some of the optimizers out there will be like, oh, look at I could get a 10% gain on the $3,000. No, if your spouse says they want $18,000, $20,000 in an emergency fund, and you only want $10,000, default to the person who wants more in the emergency fund. $10,000 is not going to make a significant difference in your life over a long period of time. Make sure that you have enough money sitting there in a separate account, completely earmarked away from all your other money, that can cover emergency plane tickets home, can cover a broken oil pan on your car. If the kids need to stay home from school because they're sick and you need to hire a babysitter or whatever it is, make sure you have the cash set aside so that every little life emergency doesn't become a big deal. It just is an inconvenience.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to turn this into a discussion about savings or sinking funds, a term you'll hear us say on other episodes. But, if you're coming close to a PCS season, you might need a little bit extra in there. If you're coming close to separating from the military, you might need a little bit extra in there. But if you have nothing else, if you have no experience with personal finance, starting with 3 months of expenses is really, really helpful. And as you track what your expenses are, you might see why do we have Max and Peacock and Hulu and Disney? Like, do we really need all these expenses? And it might bring up a conversation of what you and your spouse, if applicable, really value in your expenses. And what expenses do you count or not? Do you go down to like the very, very basic expenses, or do you go to only an emergency level of expenses? There's lots of options here. Work on it together. And if you're unsure, just do 3 months of your normal expenses. But this should not take months and months and months to get 3 months of savings built up in your emergency savings. And last thing is, remember, it's not an investment. You're not investing this because we can't afford for it to go down if the stock market takes a temporary dip. This is a savings. You're paying a fee for the insurance of having money set aside in the event of an emergency.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Military Money Manual podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. This helps others find the show, and we really appreciate it. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
The views and opinions presented here are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent the views of the DoD or its components. Reference to any commercial products or services does not constitute DoD endorsement of those products or services.